Welcome back for episode 22 of Black Hole of Real Estate. We're glad to still be with you after all of these months and surviving all kinds of hurricanes and pandemics and anything else that might be getting in the way of great real estate sales. Oh, wait a minute. We are having a great year. What is driving this market? Sales continue to be up, um, really going against what we thought a lot would have happened. There were some experts out there predicting that the market would really just drop, and it never happened. A lot of us, myself included, we thought the market would pause and then rebound and actually go further faster than it was last year. And it's exactly how this is playing out. Taking a look back at the numbers of July, what we found is that we had 598 existing single family homes sold in the greater Daytona Beach area. Median sales price was $269,000. Now, what does that mean to you? Well, it's 13% higher than the number of homes sold in July of 2019. That's a 12% increase than in June. So the median sales price plays such a role in determining where price is moving to. So if you take a look at where we are in July of 2020 and you look one back year to July of 2019, you're going to see the median sales price is 269 now, where last year was 242,000. That's a dramatic increase in just 1 year's time. And if you compare to just last month, June of 2020, when it was 260, and the home sales were 531 compared to 598, it shows continued growth, not only year over year, but month over month. So the trend continues that the number of properties sold is up. The median sales price is up and continues to go up. Year-to-date sales, if you look at all of the sales in 2020, we're at 3,011. And in 2019, it was 3,080. So we're just about caught up on the number of total sales. And that's considering that not a lot happened in April when we went into lockdown. And the sales volume is up dramatically because the median sales price overall, year-to-date 2020 is 255. And year-to-date, same time period last year, was just $240,000. So we're seeing increases across the board despite the pandemic. Inventory continues to play a role in how this market is being shaped. The July 2020 inventory was just a little over 1,800 homes. Last year it was 2,460 homes. That's 600 less homes. I mean, that's a 25% drop in inventory. That's a dramatic, huge, painful drop in inventory. And even looking at June of 2020, a couple months back, it was 2,000, and now it's 1,800. So the inventory is going to continue to play a role in how this market is shaped going forward. At some point, there will be more inventory, but right now, it's going to be a driver of this market and really an ongoing thing. With the number of homes being purchased, and let's face it, the real reason people are buying is because they have realized it's time to move. Interest rates are in the 2 and 3% range. We continue to say that we never thought we'd see this, and yet that's where it is. It's not likely it's going to go up dramatically in the next 6 or 12 months. So money is going to be available cheap. It's going to equal purchasing power for buyers, and they won't mind paying just a little bit more than the last person that bought a home because the money's so cheap. These are historically low interest rates, and at some point they could be back to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7%. Like they've been historically. And it will cost far more to purchase a home in the future than it would today. So that's what's driving this market. The low inventory is contributing to the spike in home prices simply because second best options might not really be second best. It might be your fifth or sixth or seventh best option. And if you've been in the market and you've been outbid, let's face it, there's 5 offers, 1 winner, 4 losers. There's 4 people unhappy. They're going to be perhaps a little more aggressive, not tentative, the next time around. They might be willing to pay a little bit more than the asking price to get the job done because they know next month the price is going up. If we knew in June when the median sales price was 260, and by the way, it was 241 in May, and now it's 269. Back in May, when if a home was priced at 242 and you were hesitant to go to 245 or 250, well, now the median's in the 260s. Yeah, it might have made sense to go a little above the list price back in May, when there was a little bit weaker of a market. Well, now we're facing at 269, and there's really nothing that tells me that that median is going to be coming down anytime soon because the drivers of the market are cheap money, low inventory. What's going to cause the inventory to increase? Well, sellers willing to allow people in their homes. And for their own reasons, sellers are more hesitant than buyers to participate in this market. The numbers show it. The inventory is off so much. At some point, a seller is going to say, geez, you know what? I'll deal with some discomfort. Maybe I'll move out for a weekend or go get a hotel for the weekend or do something and let my realtor sell my property in just a couple of days while I'm gone. They can disinfect the house. I mean, that's something that's being done all the time right now. And then move back in, get ready to make the next move, and hopefully they find exactly what they're wanting in the next house. But the sellers have a huge advantage right now. Buyers can't be too picky and they can't take too long to make their decisions. That's what's driving the market. Home sales are up 13%. That's a fact. Inventory is down. That's a fact. Rates are super low. That's a fact. This is not an emotional market, and it's not being driven because of COVID. We can suggest that people are moving from other areas of the country to Florida specifically, but they were doing that anyways. They did it last year. They did it the year before. The reasons people move to Florida aren't all that different. A better year-round climate, a lot more attractions and things to do. And let's face it, most people vacation in Florida, so now they're moving to where they used to vacation. They're just having the time now to realize that they'd like to do it more often. And I think that's what the COVID role really is, that people slowed down. And they took the time to realize that the current space they're in is fine, but it could be better. And how long do you want to delay that gratification of being in the home that you'd rather be in? If you had a 5-bedroom home and during COVID you realize there's 3 rooms that you never go in, that's a pretty good indication that you don't have to have all of those rooms at the next house. If there was ever a time to use every room, now was the time. So when sellers are realizing that, hey, we don't need the space, that's why. It's not because of COVID. COVID might have helped them slow down to realize they don't use those rooms, but that's where that's coming from. Now, if you're in a home and you're crowded and you're tripping all over each other and you're not used to being that together, that close for that long, that might be a reason to buy a little bit larger house or maybe a much bigger house. Let's face it, college kids are home more often than when they go away to school. So there's some change in the dynamic of how things are going to play out in the future. There's homeschooling going on. Home offices are becoming a bigger thing, and we might not go back to it. We may not be going back to what it was. This is normal right now, what we're going through. And what we experienced prior to to today, that was that's not the normal. That's called history. That's what it used to be. And what we're doing today is actually normal. And at some point in time, there'll be another new normal. But right now, what we have is what we got. This is normal. What we were doing 6 months ago is just the past. It's history. When you're looking for the next home and you're going to move, these are the factors that are driving the market. It's the race for space or relieving space or moving to an area that you've always wanted to move to, but now you're making the decision a little more easily because we've had reality thrust in front of us, because times are different, and because emotions are playing into this. I don't want to wait 5 years to retire. I don't want to wait 5 years to move to Florida. I don't want to wait 5 years to own a beach house. I want to do it today. And those actually are good reasons and maybe great reasons. I believe that what we are going to see in the years ahead are purposeful purchases, not any other type. Now, what I mean by that is intentional. If we know we're going to homeschool or not homeschool, if we know we need space or have a home office, we're going to make a purchase factoring that into the equation. It won't just be bedrooms and bathrooms and how close is it to shopping, although those are important. We're going to spend more time in the home. It has to do more of the things that we need. And quite honestly, proximity to work and schools maybe isn't so important anymore. And being in the right school district, well, maybe that's a little less important than it was, because if you're working from home and you're homeschooling, is it super important to be in that perfect school district? Is it important to be close to work? And by the way, with shopping, I think we've all realized that most things we want in life, whether it's food or clothing or furniture or anything, can be delivered. Do we actually need to be that close to shopping anymore? The dynamics have changed, and what the home does for you, the requirements are different as we move forward. So I believe that what we have right now is normal. What we saw 6 months or a year ago is the past. And I believe what we're heading towards is something that's more focused on what the home does for our personal, our education, and our work within that same dwelling. It's just an alternative view of what's going on with this market, but this is what I believe is going to continue to drive it. And if home sales are up right now, I think they'll continue to only increase over time. I don't see any end to this until we see the inventory catch up. And right now, it is a long way to just catch up to last year when it was still a really strong seller's market. We're a long ways away from a buyer's market. And if you're ready to buy, this is the price. This is the normal price. I don't expect a big drop. I expect it to continue upward, but I expect people to be happy to pay it. They're not focusing on getting a deal so much as they're focused on getting the right home. And isn't that what it's all about, is getting the right home? This is Ron Weiss-Zakarski with an alternative view for the black hole of real estate.